Good afternoon. Welcome on in to another episode of From Day One. Today we go to Judge Simpson's courtroom where Sov Cit just doesn't get the hint to leave the room.
Bell Asset Management versus Danette Malik.
Ready, Your Honor.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I don't know.
I'm looking for every great recommendation I can receive from you today, sir. I have been in a very horrible assaultive position.
Okay, let me
left your
hold on a second.
Okay.
State your name for the record.
Danette Malik.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Malik.
Well, I entered your courtroom honorably last year at this time. I came in as a plaintiff.
Okay.
And when I swore in, I gave some information about one company, Akram Rashid, merging with a new owner. At that time, I, the customer, was not given the respect, nor any other tenant in my building, underneath the laws to meet this person as a consumer.
Citation
It is
needed.
of complete responsibility for a new company to acquire the permission of the tenant
No.
where money is concerned to
Oh,
enter
hell
a good
no.
consumer relationship. This did not happen. Time proceeded, and this maintenance company decided to enter person's property with no permission, started to manipulate them, stealing possessions, stealing
Okay,
automobiles.
ma'am, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Maybe like when was the last time she was on
Is your
drugs?
motion to set aside the judgment?
Well, I did set it aside, and we met that agreement. An attorney
You don't get to
named
set
Kevin
it aside,
Callahan
dear.
sat in a court
Oh my
with the
God.
plaintiff.
The
According to the
plaintiff is
law,
actually Kevin
there
Callahan.
are no attorneys
And he's looking
allowed.
like, what the
So I
fuck?
tried to motion in at the end of August
No
because I
attorneys- no,
recognized.
hold on. No attorneys allowed where?
When I first met with you, Your Honor, I went into a small claims. And I was underneath the impression through the courses of the law that there were
Oh my God,
no
I wish I could show you the
attorneys
picture of this attorney.
allowed in a
He is
small
just
claim.
gobsmacked like,
So
wait, what?
something kind of got jangled up. I presented charges.
Ma'am, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, because I want to make sure that I've got everything in front of me. Was there a small claims case?
Yes. And at that time, we made an agreement
Go ahead.
that after August, which was Akram Rashid's current lease, that there were not supposed to be any changes to, yet that wasn't the case. I would be on a month to month. I raised my right hand. Kevin Callahan, yourself, and I made that agreement. He swore to me, my mother, which then reported it to my banks. I reported it to my private attorneys in New York City that managed my work. And I contacted the courts.
Anyone
I
want
talked
to take
him
bet that she doesn't
verbally
have
over the
any
phone
private attorney in New York?
from his office
Unless
in
it's like
St.
her
Clair
probation
Shores.
officer.
And he stated to me that I swear, you're going to receive that sheet of paper. I waited and I waited and I waited. Spring and summer came to fruition and I called the courts. It's getting, later in the year. Where's the sheet of paper? It was as easy as that. There was no failure of me to make the payment. I still have the finances set aside. I feel like they are trying to retaliate against me because I've continued to make reports, which is my sole discretion. I have the right to do that. Between the Michigan State Police that were called on numerous occasions by other.
Ma'am, I'm going to have to stop you because I'm not clear what you're talking.
Well, I think that there's a position here where there's charges that he wanted to dismiss, but because he did not fulfill the obligation that he promised me, by August, I was being manipulated and they're not following through with their original
Manipulated
agreement.
by whom?
I, yourself, and Callahan last January coming into February, we sat in the Zoom conference. I presented the paperwork that was unorthodox. of
Judge, if I
one
may,
owner
I
and
have
another
information on
owner.
this. I can.
And this
My God, this
change of
attorney's
ownership
face
will
is
not
just like,
affect your lease
can I talk?
agreement.
I can make her
She put
tell her to
unless
shut up.
otherwise indicated in your current signed lease. Well, unless otherwise means I can't do what I'm claiming I'm going to do. She broke these laws.
She being whom?
EJ Elizabeth Jefferson, who claimed to be a property manager that no one had ever met. There is no legible address. The Attorney General states that she's not a registered or licensed person. The federal offices told me not to be in business with them.
Ma'am.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now, you've lost me.
Well, from the very beginning, I presented the first time I came in to see you, I presented both pieces of paper.
Ma'am, stop for a moment.
Okay.
I had them pull a small claims case involving yourself against Bell Management.
Yeah, they did things
That
that were
was-
illegal. Fair housing.
Ma'am, that was over a year ago. I would like to say I absolutely remember that,
Yeah.
but I don't.
I'm in dismay myself, sir, because I made that agreement with you.
Oh my God, when
I
the
clearly
judge has got his
don't
hands on his
allow a
head and
judge
frustrated,
or
you know you
myself
fucked up.
to be taken advantage of by an attorney's office.
Well, I
Cal-
don't know that I've been taken advantage of.
I believe I have been.
Okay.
I would
that's
not
fine.
enter your
So-
courts to present this witness information as very
Ma'am,
imperative.
stop for one
Okay.
moment. Let me hear, I've heard from you for a while. Let me hear from the other side.
Okay.
Mr. Callahan.
Thank you, Judge. Kevin Callahan, P78273, representing Bell Asset Management. The matter that Ms. Malik is speaking of was a previous matter, a small claims matter that was filed against my client in conjunction with a non-payment of rent matter that we filed against Ms. Malik. Those matters have been decided. Those matters are closed. It has no bearing on this matter whatsoever. This current case, Ms. Malik even admitted she's on a month-to-month tenancy. We provided a 30-day notice to Ms. Malik. She never showed up to court, so a default judgment was entered back in October against Ms. Malik. We subsequently filed a writ of eviction. That writ was signed by Your Honor, and now we get this motion to set aside that default 2 months after the default was entered, alleging that no attorney present and it was against her rights. And I'm as lost as you are with this, Judge. There's no basis to set this judgment aside. Ms. Malik is a month-to-month tenant. She has to vacate the property. However, I will say for the record, because I'm not going to let my reputation possibly be besmirched on the record here of doing anything illegal or improper, Ms. Malik has called my office and left over 120 voicemails accusing me of crimes under the federal
120?
law that don't exist, made threats against
The
me,
FBI
my
told me.
family. Ms. Malik,
Ma'am.
I allowed you to speak. Please allow me to speak. She's made threats against my bar license. She's made threats against my family. She's made threats against my office staff. It has been deplorable what my staff has gone through with Ms. Malik over a situation that is a simple month-to-month termination, and Ms. Malik refuses to leave the property, Judge. We're just asking for that judgment to stand and the writ to stand so that my client can move forward.
The property. I never made any threats to anybody's family. I never made any threats to anybody. I did call the office. I asked him for the sheet of paper that he promised. He said he would give me a month to month after August. I said, what is going on? I said, give me the oral confirmation or the written confirmation, and I'm going to continue to pay the money from August onward. I asked your court, I said, may I please have the sheet of paper?
Ma'am.
I did not threaten anybody.
Okay, fine. I don't know anything about that.
And
And I'm not,
If he made an
I am,
agreement about a
ma'am,
month to
ma'am,
month, why am I?
ma'am, you have interrupted me numerous times.
I'm sorry.
That needs to stop.
I did not threaten anybody.
Okay,
Ma'am.
Okay.
fine. You know, always
Just
two sides to
horribly
a story.
rude.
But the reality here is you're before the court challenging, you're asking me to set aside a judgment to stay the writ.
She then told me, she flip-flopped with me 3 times. She put another sheet of paper underneath my door, asking me, EJ Jefferson.
Ma'am,
She
that
asked
has
me if I
nothing.
abandoned my unit.
Ma'am.
Then she tried to take the money out
Ma'am,
3
okay,
times
ma'am,
in
I'm gonna,
September
you know
and
what I'm gonna do,
October.
ma'am? Here's what I'm gonna do.
But there was no order.
Ma'am, I'm
She,
gonna pass
she
the matter.
asked me to move
Quit
Oh
out.
my God.
interrupting me.
Yeah, she's
Well, let's put
Quit
her on
trying
the
to
naughty
take money.
step.
interrupting me.
The judge is going to put her on the naughty step and make her sit and
That's
wait for
warning
other
2.
cases.
On the third one, I act. You're before the court to set aside the writ to set aside the judgment and the writ.
Yes.
So that the record is clear, the judgment was entered for failure to appear at 2 hearings. First one being October 6th, and then on October 20th. I issued of 2023. I issued the judgment.
Because I thought that the month to month would be honored. That's all. That's all that he gave me. It was all the information I went by, was what I was sworn in. When I'm underneath oath, an agreement is made, nothing happened other than me calling his office and asking for that sheet of paper. I diligently, respectfully, and responsibly, as
Ma'am, you can have a seat before I find you. Or recalls the case, Bell Asset
And now,
Management versus
after
Melee.
that seat.
Let me, before anybody else says anything, because this is going way far afield. The only issue before me is the order that I issued in October, which was the judgment, and then the writ of eviction.
well, I failed the October. I don't know how. I got confused. I'm not accustomed to the courts.
Ma'am, but if at any given time, here's what the problem for you, Miss Ma'am, and I'm just gonna be blunt about it. That judgment went out from the court